The pandemic was a weird time because there were too many emotions that were not necessarily in the same side of the circle. They're very contrasting. You had the fear, the stress, and uncertainty of sickness and, this evil virus that was going to contaminate and kill us all. But then you had the fact that we were actually economically quite well because we were receiving. A lot of the everyday life stress can very simply go away when the financial side of things gets taken care of. And in this case, we were receiving all the things we needed from the government. The story started before the pandemic. My wife and I started a new business with another 3 business partners. We rented an old warehouse and refurbished it into an art studio. You can imagine we signed the lease and a week after they declared a global pandemic. So eventually we had to turn the opportunity of having that space from a business-oriented thing to just a community focus. I work as a freelance filmmaker, and during that time, there wasn't really much for me to do. There was nothing. It was a stressful situation until the government's JobKeeper scheme was in place. That really ceased our financial stress, and it was really life-saving. It gave us the opportunity to keep running our community project, and being inspired by social movements on Facebook, our space lent itself to support international students, migrants, and art workers with resources and an accessible and safe space to share and exchange. This unusual time also allowed me to focus on my needs rather than the demands from the outside world. There was a lot of personal development. It felt okay to want to be home and spend half an hour with the plants, or to simply sit and look at the sky. It was also a time for me and my wife to develop as a couple and move to our next stage of having children. We flourished in the excitement of growing in our life and being ready to become parents. It went from being outside in the garden and seeing things growing to being part of a human's life that needs to be nurtured by you. I always feel we were really lucky that regardless of the pandemic, we were still connected with people. Even on a personal relationship level, our communication with each other increased. It wasn't necessarily because we were afraid or concerned for our well-being. It was more about the desire to just want to share and connect on an emotional level.